Yeah. I'm
What
gonna
was the hardest?
I'm gonna be
Right?
cancelled. I'm gonna be cancelled soon, so there won't be an next film.
Oh my God! What? Oh, is it because people are going to see the taverns?
Yeah. See you later, team.
So this is Matt Hicks. He's a passionate filmmaker. He's directed, he's acted, he's produced, you name it, he's done it. I've even had the privilege of working with him on a local film here in New Zealand called The Tavern.
Did you find that I had a few pitfalls that you found during that spotting session that might not connect well with the tavern, and that's something that we needed to work on?
I guess one of your pitfalls, I wanted to make the movie quite dubstep heavy, and you just refused to do that.
Yeah. Just outright refused.
Yeah.
From reaching out to music groups online to getting in touch with a publisher, you have a myriad of ways of getting in touch with a composer. Now, if you want to get in touch with me, for example, you have two options. You can get in touch with my guild and they'll get in touch with me, or you can get in touch with my publisher. And if you're interested in publishing or publishers knowing what they do, I will be going over that in a future video. So if you're not subscribed yet, go ahead and do so. And that way you're up to date for when it comes out. What I'm trying to do with this video is break down those barriers and make it easier for directors to understand this step.
But also to do the 2 final spotting sessions for
What are spotting sessions?
So prior to that spotting session, you've come up with some ideas in terms of what you feel the score should be doing.
On the tavern, so when you were working with me on the tavern, was that the first time you'd ever done a spotting session?
First time ever working with a composer on any project.
Spotting sessions are meetings that are conducted between directors and composers. Directors and their team, composers and their team. They often discuss where the music is going to go in a film, how a director is wanting a certain scene to feel. You're wanting, like, if you've got specific ideas or specific songs, the idea is to watch the film together and to really get a sense of how it's going to feel in the end.
I think before we got into the session, I vaguely kind of like knew what would happen, just because Home Kills went through the process with Mike Newport and Hayden Butler, the director, was kind of like, telling me a little bit about how it works and stuff. But me personally, as the absolute leader, I've never done it. Yeah.
What about it did you find valuable?
I think the most valuable thing about a spotting session is you can both get on the same page straight away, and you can also get a really, really good understanding of your composer's limitations, maybe, or abilities. And yes, I don't know. I think the most valuable thing is just getting your expectations aligned.
So when preparing for your spotting session, it's absolutely fine to ask for like a demo so that you guys can get on the same page, or at least be able to start a discussion of where you're wanting the film to go. These demos you don't have to like them, or you don't really even, you could be like, that's completely the wrong direction that I'm going for. And then it helps set a bar for where both of you are wanting to take the direction of the film.
Was there any part of the session that you think we missed out on?
Probably could have, from memory, it was a while ago now. We maybe could have been a little bit more thorough, and that probably came down to the spotting session not being long enough due to, our domestic things, us having to pick up kids, There was little bits you may remember, we won't name scenes in specific, but they might have needed a little bit of music. Just like, we might have brushed over a couple of scenes that did require music to amplify them, because they weren't the major ones. So I guess, yeah, going through, obviously doing the major ones and then going through and having another look at the film and being like, oh, where can we add little dashes of music to amp this thing up? So probably a longer spotting session would be good. Yeah. Maybe you need like kind of 2 days almost to spot in hindsight,
Yeah.
or at least a full day. Probably 2 days actually. One to kind of like go through the whole thing, and then 1 day to kind of let it marinate, and then come back and have another look. Yeah.
So as a director, you have a very clear understanding of what you want in your film. But there are moments where you also need to lean on the expertise of your composer. That's not to say to get rid of your vision entirely. What I'm saying is to be more open and flexible so that when going into your spotting session, you're able to see things and visualize things in a different way.
I also like people that like, I don't know, like do a bit of like research and stuff on people, like beforehand. Like one of our characters is the bar rat,
The bar rat.
and he's may rest in peace, legend.
Yeah.
He was in the Pineapple Lumps ads. Was it Pineapple Lumps?
Yeah.
Yeah, Pineapple Lumps.
The voice of God.
The voice of God. Yeah.
You gotta be quick around here.
Pineapple Lumps. Well done, New Zealand.
And that's how we beat the rest of the world. Big fella.
Sweet as, dude.
But yeah, he so Jake bloody came up with an idea where you kind of like amalgamated some of that into his bar rat scene score. Like you've done your research on this guy, like, and it might not mean anything to the general public, it might just go over their heads, but I don't know, like that's beautiful art. Like that's a little homage to an absolute legend. Like that's that kind of like subtle little stuff that I really love.
For a composer, making a mock-up and watching the film and getting a sense of it isn't actually that difficult. You can ask, and it's not going to put anybody out. Often, it's better because it provides them a sense of where the direction of the film is going to before even getting into that spotting session.
What are your expectations when going into a spotting session? So this kind of goes back to what we were talking about before.
My expectations,
Yeah.
I guess I didn't really know because it was my first one, but I guess my expectations of what I like is I like people bringing something, be it right or wrong, to the table to start with, like, because it shows that they've got a bit of initiative and stuff, like it's like a writing session, like I kind of believe if you're going into a writing session, if you're somebody that's being paid to help people come up with ideas, like go in there a little bit hot, like have some ideas pre-programmed.
Well, thanks for coming on, man.
No worries, man. Anything.
I really appreciate
it. You overall, if I was just gonna say things, we learned a lot from our time together. I just kind of like working with people. I have a victories and losses kind of column, if I want to work with them again. And Jake had far more victories than he had losses, and I'd work with him again.
I have worked on several projects now, and most of them have been for ambitious, struggling directors or new directors who struggle to get past this main step of just trying to get in touch with a composer or how to work with a composer. And they also often start here and go, well, this is what I want and this is what you need to be doing. And so it confuses the steps. With this series, what I'm trying to do is just break down a lot of those miscommunications so that we as filmmakers can get off on the right foot straight away. Thank you so much for watching. If you found any of this helpful, if you have stories of your own to share, Go ahead and leave those down in the comments below. I have plenty more stories. I have more videos coming out. So if you aren't subscribed yet, go ahead and subscribe, hit the like button, share this video, and let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. Right. So I have worked on quite a few projects now. Alright, you just bumped it.
Do I just pause the video?
No, just let it go. Alright, you ready? Just get comfy. Comfy? Alright, perfect.
That's
Camera people, man! Good lord. Alright, I'm gonna go now.
okay, got it.
Norwegian death metal dubstep.